Jamal rose from his chair slowly, his footsteps echoing louder in his ears than they actually were. Every step toward the piano felt like a mile, with dozens of eyes following his every move. His classmates whispered in hushed tones, some expecting him to crash and burn, others watching with the kind of curiosity reserved for car wrecks. No one really believed he could play. At the front of the room, Ms. Parker stood with her arms tightly crossed, her smirk widening as if she was savoring every second. To her, this was entertainment. She thought she had cornered him, trapped him in a moment that would end with laughter at his expense. Jamal sat down on the bench. His hands hovered over the keys, trembling, not from fear but from anticipation. For a brief second, the entire classroom was silent. The only sound was his steady breathing as he centered himself, remembering his grandmother's words. When you sit at the piano, the world has to listen. Then, with a calm certainty, Jamal pressed down on the first keys. The opening notes of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata floated through the room like a spell, soft, haunting, delicate, yet carrying an emotional weight that grabbed everyone instantly. The giggles that had bubbled up from the back row evaporated in an instant. The casual smirks vanished. One by one, the students leaned forward, their eyes widening as they realized what was happening. This wasn't a simple children's tune. This wasn't a clumsy attempt at faking skill. This was mastery. Jamal's fingers glided across the keys, weaving a melody that seemed to fill the air itself. Each note was deliberate, layered with emotion, his grief, his strength, his quiet defiance. It was as if he was speaking to them all without saying a single word. And then came the real shift. Ms. Parker's smug expression, the one she had worn so proudly just moments earlier, began to falter. Her smirk loosened, her brow furrowed, and for the first time, uncertainty flickered across her face. She hadn't expected this. She hadn't prepared for this. Jamal wasn't being humiliated. He was commanding the room. By the time he reached the middle of the piece, the classroom was completely silent, not out of awkwardness but out of awe. Jamal had transformed the moment. The piano wasn't just an instrument anymore. It was his voice, and it was louder than every insult ever thrown his way.